Hey, what's up, Bills Mafia? Welcome back to the channel, your #1 spot for everything Buffalo Bills. From exclusive locker room stories to insider free agency rumors and draft recaps. Now look, this team is on a mission. After another hard-fought season, Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott are doubling down. Whether it's tweaking the roster, finding hidden gems, or developing our young stars, the Bills are locked in on one goal: getting better every single day. And you can feel it. This roster is being rebuilt brick by brick to take us back to the top of the AFC. But before we jump into today's hot topic, do me a favor, smash that like button to show your support for the squad and hit that subscribe. If you haven't already, you won't want to miss what we've got coming. Let's get into it because this one's making waves. Could Gabe Davis be coming back to Buffalo? Yeah, you heard that right. Davis was just released by the Jacksonville Jaguars after only 1 year into his 3-year, $39 million deal. A deal that, let's be real, never lived up to expectations. Injuries plagued his 2024 campaign, and he ended the year with just 20 receptions for 239 yards and 2 touchdowns before a torn meniscus shut him down. But hold up, before we write him off, let's not forget who Gabe Davis was in Buffalo in 4 seasons with the Bills. He racked up 27 touchdowns and averaged an impressive 16.7 yards per catch. You remember that iconic 4-touchdown playoff game against the Chiefs in 2021. That wasn't just a flash in the pan. Davis was a legit deep threat and a fierce competitor on the boundary. Yeah, he dropped some passes. That's part of the story. But so is the fact that he was one of the best blocking wide receivers in football and always stepped up when the lights were brightest. Here's where things get real. The Bills wide receiver room, let's just say it's a work in progress. Stephon Diggs, gone, traded to Houston. Gabe Davis, originally let walk in free agency. And in the 2025 NFL Draft, Beane didn't grab a wideout until the 7th round. Yes, they added Elijah Moore in free agency. And honestly, that's looking like a sneaky good move. Moore signed a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million, but the actual guaranteed money is just $2.5 million. That includes a base salary of $1.1 million and a $750K signing bonus. The other half? All incentives. And here's what makes that even more interesting. Moore turned down more money to be here. Cleveland hit him with a rare unrestricted free agent tender for $3.4 million guaranteed. But he passed on that to come to Buffalo. Why? Because of the culture, the coaching, and the quarterback. That says a lot. But Moore is a slot guy, a shifty, explosive route runner, but not a true boundary X or Z receiver. Right now, the team has Keon Coleman, a rookie with sky-high potential, and Khalil Shakir, who took a big step forward last year. But after that, not a lot of proven firepower on the outside. So here's the big question. Should the Bills bring Gabe Davis home? Let's break it down. PROs, familiarity. Davis knows the offense, the city, the locker room. There's zero adjustment. Time, red zone threat. The Bills have lost some size and physicality. Gabe gives you both. Blocking, don't sleep on this. In a run game that's expected to feature more James Cook, a receiver who blocks like a tight end matters. Motivation. Davis has something to prove. A short-term prove-it deal could be exactly the spark he needs. Cons, injuries. The knee injury from 2024 can't be ignored. Is he still explosive? Hands. Drops were an issue in Buffalo and continued in Jacksonville. Roster fit. Is there enough room in the WR room if younger guys like Coleman, Shakir, and Moore all take a step forward? But here's what tips the scale for me. Leadership. Davis was respected in the locker room, and he brought that underdog energy that always clicked with the fan base and the coaching staff. Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott always speak highly of him. That's not a coincidence. While we're on the topic of offensive weapons, there's another situation developing quietly. James Cook wants a new contract, but according to GM Brandon Beane, Cook is expected to play regardless of the negotiation status. And that's big, because Cook isn't just a nice to have. He's a critical part of this offense. Last year, he rushed for over 1,200 yards and added serious value in the passing game. He's dynamic, he's durable, and he's still on his rookie deal, but Bean is being smart. He's managing the cap, planning for the future, and probably wants to see one more breakout season before talking serious extension. For now, though, the takeaway is clear. Cook would be on the field. And with Davis potentially back in the fold and more work in the slot, this offense could quietly retool into something dangerous. So here's the deal. The Buffalo Bills made it all the way to the AFC Championship game in 2024, and they did it without a single wide receiver cracking 1,000 yards. Crazy, right? And yeah, a lot of that success came down to one man, Josh Allen, the 2024 NFL MVP. He put this team on his back and elevated everyone around him. But even Superman needs backup. And right now, the question on everyone's mind is, did Buffalo do enough at wide receiver this offseason? ESPN's Aaron Schatz dropped a pretty honest assessment this week, and he didn't hold back. He says the biggest hole on the post-draft Bills roster is the outside wide receiver position. Now, look, we all know Diggs is gone. Gabe Davis? Gone. Two, the top outside guys now, Keon Coleman and Joshua Palmer. Promising? Sure. But proven WR1s? Not yet. Let's break it down. Keon Coleman, our rookie from Florida State, showed some flashes last year. He missed 4 games with an injury, but still holding 29 catches for 556 yards and 4 touchdowns. His receiving DVOA, that's defense adjusted value over average, was a very solid 11.4%, ranking 30th out of 91 qualifying wideouts. That's not bad at all for a rookie. In fact, it's pretty impressive, but that doesn't automatically make him your WR1, not yet. Then there's Joshua Palmer, brought in through free agency from the Chargers. He's consistent, smart, and brings back-to-back seasons of 580-plus receiving yards. But again, we're talking solid WR2 or WR3 numbers. Here, not game-breaking. And the rest of the receiver room? It's stacked with slot guys. You've got Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel, and Elijah Moore. All talented, all quick, all able to find soft spots in coverage, but none of them are big-bodied. Boundary receivers who can line up against top corners and win. Now you might be thinking, hey, we made it to the AFC title game without a WR1. Why panic now? And you'd have a point, but here's what I'm seeing. Last year's success? That was Josh Allen playing the best football of his life. Improvising, throwing guys open, making impossible plays look easy. That level of QB play covered up a lot of roster weaknesses. But what happens when defenses adapt? What happens if Allen gets banged up and can't run as much? What if defenses force us to play a more traditional passing game? That's when you need a guy who can beat man coverage, make contested catches, and take pressure off your QB. In other words, a legit WR1. Right now, we're banking on Keon Coleman taking that leap. And he might, but until that happens, there's no denying it. This is the biggest question mark on our roster. Aaron Schatz summed it up perfectly when he said, and I quote, "There's no clear number one option and very little depth behind Coleman." And Palmer. He likes both players, and so do I, but liking a guy's upside isn't the same as knowing they can dominate an AFC playoff game. And let's not forget we lost Mac Hollins, who was a key depth piece. That matters. So what's the plan here? Are we just hoping Coleman becomes Diggs 2.0 overnight? Are we counting on Elijah Moore to bounce back into the spotlight after a quiet year in Cleveland? Or is there a move still coming? That brings us to the million-dollar question. Is Brandon Beane cooking something behind the scenes? There are still a few veteran WRs out there in free agency. Maybe a reunion with Gabe Davis or a late summer trade for a proven guy on a rebuilding team. And knowing Beane, he's always watching, always calculating. He's not afraid to pull the trigger if the right deal comes along. Let's also not forget the June 1st cap space bump that's coming thanks to the Diggs trade. That could open the door for a move. So this conversation is not over yet, but the concern is real. Outside WR remains a big-time gap, and if we're serious about winning a Super Bowl, it's got to be addressed. So, Bills Mafia, this is where I turn it over to you. Do you want to see Gabe Davis back in Buffalo? Is it time for a reunion? Or should we let the younger guys take over the WR room and focus on building something new? And what about James Cook's contract? Should Beane lock him up now or wait it out? I want to hear it all. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's get this debate going. If you appreciated today's breakdown, do me a solid, smash that like button to support the channel. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a beat. We've got camp battles and depth chart surprises and roster drama coming all summer long. Don't miss a second of it. Until next time, I'm out. Go Bills!